Cowboys Nation, let's be honest. The Dallas Cowboys are sitting in a dangerous spot right now. We've seen this team put up points. We've seen Dak Prescott look more comfortable than ever under Brian Schottenheimer's leadership. And we've even seen young weapons like George Pickens step into the spotlight with CeeDee Lamb sidelined. But there's one glaring issue we can't ignore anymore. This defense is collapsing, and the numbers are ugly. 4 sacks in 4 games, 13 quarterback hits, 50 hurries that barely rattled opposing quarterbacks. That's dead last in the NFL. For a franchise that once prided itself on unleashing chaos up front, we're now watching quarterbacks stand in clean pockets, completing more than 80% of their throws, piling up over 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns against us. It's embarrassing, and unless something changes, it could sink the Cowboys' season before midseason even arrives. And this is where the conversation shifts to Carl Granderson. Let me tell you something, Cowboys fans. This isn't a maybe type of move. This is the type of addition that could completely change the trajectory of the season. With the New Orleans Saints, Granderson has quietly become one of the most consistent, durable, and disruptive defensive ends in the league. He's had seasons with 8 sacks, multiple years topping 30 hurries, and he's proven he can not only create pressure, but actually finish plays. That's exactly what Dallas has been missing. Because here's the brutal truth. Pressures don't matter if you can't turn them into sacks or forced throws. 50 hurries look nice on a stat sheet, but if quarterbacks are still stepping into throws, hitting receivers in stride, and putting up near-perfect passer ratings, then the pressure is meaningless. Granderson is different. He's the kind of pass rusher who collapses pockets, who forces quarterbacks to get uncomfortable, and who makes offensive lines adjust their entire blocking schemes just to deal with him. But that's not all. Granderson isn't just a pass-rushing specialist, he's reliable against the run, too. And let's not sugarcoat this either. The Cowboys have missed 43 tackles this season already. That's not just a stat. That's a sign of a defense that's soft, a defense that doesn't finish plays, and a defense that's been bleeding extra yardage on the ground. Granderson sets the edge. He forces runs back inside. He plays disciplined football, which is exactly what Dallas has lacked. And by doing that, he makes life easier for the linebackers, for the safeties, for everyone else on the field. His presence would immediately raise the floor of this defense. Now let's zoom out and talk about timing, because timing is everything. The Saints are in a rebuild. They're sitting at 0-3, and they've shown they're willing to move veterans to stockpile picks. That means Carl Granderson could be available right now. Meanwhile, the Cowboys are 1-2, staring down the barrel of a brutal schedule and desperately need to fix their defense before it's too late. This is the window. This is the moment for Jerry Jones and the front office to step up and make a move. Because if they sit on their hands and hope the current group magically figures it out, then they're basically waving the white flag on the season. Think about it, Cowboys Nation. This offense is built to compete. Dak is making smart decisions, the offensive line is giving him time, the run game is producing with Sanders and Williams, and even with Lamb hurt, the passing attack is dangerous. But none of that matters if the defense can't hold up. You can't ask Dak to score 40 points every week just to keep us alive. That's not sustainable. What's sustainable is adding proven defensive help. What's sustainable is giving this team the kind of edge rusher who can tilt games back in Dallas's favor. And that's exactly what Granderson brings to the table. I want you to picture it. Jadeveon Clowney rotating in fresh, Granderson setting one edge, young guys like Sam Williams learning in live action, and suddenly this defensive front doesn't look soft anymore, it looks dangerous again. It looks like the kind of unit that can swing momentum, create turnovers, and let Dak and this offense play with a lead instead of constantly chasing shootouts. This move isn't just about sacks, it's about identity. It's about sending a message to the locker room, to the fans, and to the rest of the league that Dallas isn't going to roll over and accept mediocrity. It's about Jerry Jones showing once again that he'll do whatever it takes to put a contender on the field. And let's be clear, this roster is close. You fix the pass rush, you clean up the tackling, and suddenly the Cowboys go from 1-2 with questions everywhere to a team nobody wants to face in November and December. Cowboys Nation, this is the moment to demand action. Do you want to see Jerry Jones pick up that phone and make the call for Carl Granderson? Do you believe that adding him could be the spark that saves this season? Because I do. This team has the talent, the pieces, and the coaching on offense to make noise in the NFC. What they need now is balance. What they need is toughness. What they need is Granderson. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you agree Dallas can't sit back anymore, and subscribe to Dallas Game Day for all the latest updates and reactions. Because Cowboys Nation, this season is still alive, but only if the front office acts now. And Carl Granderson could be the exact difference maker we've been waiting for.